Hi, my name's Jonathan Halstead. I'm a paraglider pilot. I've been flying for over 20 years. I discovered paragliding in about 1990 when I was doing some hill walking in North Wales, and I saw a paraglider soaring on the north face of Glyderfawr right up the cliffs, and it was just so spectacular and inspiring. I just instantly thought, I've got to do that.
I'm Mark Harrah. I'm a paraglider pilot. I've been flying for about 26 years. In 1970, there was a magazine that had a diagram for how to build a hang glider out of bamboo and plastic wrap. And so this was really kind of at the very beginning of hang gliding in the United States. And so we built this hang glider that I wouldn't say was very airworthy, and I'm not sure I would even call it flying. We tended to crash a lot. So we did that for a while when we were children, and then my brother kept hang gliding, and I went off and did other things. And then when I was about 30, paragliding had just come to the US. There were only about 300 pilots. And a friend of mine said he was going to take a first lesson, and I said, I'm in.
When I started paragliding years ago, it was quite different from today. There were many similarities. The wings had matured a bit, but they were a lot less stable.
They weren't designed by computers the way they are today. They had only 12, I think my first paraglider had 11 cell openings like this, but it was just a truckload of fun, and so I just got addicted to it. The wings today are significantly safer than they were back in the early 90s. And they perform better. Back in the early 90s, the wings had a glide ratio of 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. It was really low. So what would happen is that if there were no thermals, you would glide forward 4 or 5 feet for every 1 foot you descend. These days, a modern paraglider is glide ratios of 9 or 10-to-1. Also, the fabric has gotten much lighter. They've discovered that lighter fabric, if you can keep it strong, is better, because then if you have a canopy collapse, it reinflates much more quickly.
I think the thing I like about paragliding is the excitement. It's a strange thing because when you're doing it, you don't actually feel that excited. You're so focused on the task of doing it, finding the thermals, staying up, dealing with the turbulence, that it's actually just a really concentrating task at the time, and you have to clear your mind for everything. But when you land after a great flight, it's just such a buzz and so much more exciting than anything else you're doing in the other parts of your life. And as I said before, it's also the unfeasibility of it. You look back at a cliff 3,000 meters tall and think, I flew above that. It's unfeasible. It's not possible. And yet I did it. So it's almost like the unreality of the situation is a great attraction for me as well.
What worries me about it? It's like mountain climbing in a lot of ways. Okay, it's a personal responsibility sport. When you go up to the top of a hill, you have to look at the sky and assess the weather, because it can be very dangerous. If you don't judge the weather correctly, or if you don't judge the terrain, you can be injured. But there is an element of being addicted to the danger of it. So what worries me, I would say, is whether or not my judgment on any particular flight is correct about the weather and the location, and am I going to make a mistake? I think that the safe pilots in general are the ones who have an element of fear. Those are the ones that are safe. The pilots that tend to get injured are the ones that are overconfident and who don't think about these things. What's my philosophy on paragliding? I would say several different types of answers to that. One answer is just have fun with it and don't try to be, the best pilot on the hill. Try to be the safest pilot on the hill. Another answer would be airspeed is life, because airspeed is everything. If you have airspeed, which can be defined as if you feel wind in your face and hear wind in your ears, then your wing will stay inflated and you can fly around in the sky is a big ocean. It's a liquid that you fly through. You have to decide what philosophy is, but I think it's about fly to be happy. Don't fly to compete.
Well, I've just come down from a really lovely evening flight. The thing that makes evening flight so pleasant is that since the sun's going down, there's very little heat in the air, so there's no rising air and no turbulence. The conditions this evening weren't as normal. There was some big black clouds about, because of course you can get thunderstorms at night, so I was a bit worried that cumuls might be forming. And also, as I was about to take off, a local pilot just left the landing field, which could have been a sign that there was something very bad happening I wasn't aware of. But I took off anyway, and there was a bit of turbulence and a bit of lift that shouldn't have been there, but overall it was a lovely flight, and I came into land just as the sun was setting with a couple of spirals. Another great day. Cheers.